Regional forms are probably one of the best choices that Game Freak have ever made. Bringing new life to older, sometimes more forgettable Pokemon is something that we can all praise. Today I want to look at some of these regional forms and see how successful they were in the official Pokemon format. The first Pokemon I want to talk about today is Hisuian Samurott. Base form Samurott as a Pokemon has only one decent result, coming 3rd place in the 2011 World Championships. Hisuian Samurott on paper should be much better, being faster than regular Samurott, swapping its physical and special attack stats, but also sacrificing a little bit of bulk. It has a better ability in sharpness, boosting the power of all slicing moves, things like Razor Shell, Sacred Sword, Night Slash, X-Scissor, those kinds of moves. Samurott also gains a secondary dark typing. Even with all these buffs, Hisuian Samurott hasn't really done that well. I just wanted to talk about it because it was the MVP of my Grand Challenge 1 team, and it caught so many people off guard with random critical hits. The next Pokemon though is much better. This Pokemon is Hisuian Lilligant. Hisuian Lilligant was first made legal in Regulation D of Scarlet and Violet, and is a direct upgrade over regular Lilligant. They both share the Chlorophyll ability, doubling their speed in the sun, while both also having access to the move Sleep Powder, causing havoc on the field. The main thing that separates these two Pokemon is that Hisuian Lilligant has 15 more base speed than regular Lilligant. That is so hard to say. Regular Lilligant. I give up. It may not sound like much, but it makes a world of a difference. This Pokemon is only ever really paired with Torkoal. Torkoal's base speed is an absolute joke, so unless you're in Trick Room, there is no way you're getting maximum power on your eruptions. This perfectly synergizes with Lilligant's high speed, Chlorophyll, and the fact it gets access to After You, enabling Torkoal to fire off eruptions extremely quickly without the need of Trick Room. Both forms of Lilligant are useless outside of Sun teams, but when you want to use Torkoal, it's a Pokemon you need to consider. Staying on the topic of Sun teams, the next Pokemon I want to talk about is Hisuian Typhlosion. Typhlosion has one main reason you want to use it. You want to pair it with a Tailwind setter and just spam Eruption, since Typhlosion is the fastest Eruption user in the game. Hisuian Typhlosion is actually slower than regular Typhlosion, so you might be confused about why Hisuian Typhlosion is far better. That mostly comes down to the Ghost type that Hisuian Typhlosion gets. This gives it an immunity to Fake Out and limits the counterplay that the opponents have. Many popular teams pair Hisuian Typhlosion with Whimsicott, since Whimsicott has the Prankster ability, giving priority to every single status move, and it can set up Tailwind and Sun on command. And it just blows through teams. It's so good. It's really broken. The next Pokemon is Galarian Weezing. This Pokemon is really good at shutting down Pokemon that rely on their abilities, since Weezing's own ability is Neutralizing Gas, which turns off every single ability in the game, including your own Pokemon's. Just this year at NAIC, we saw 5 Galarian Weezings in the top 64 teams, most of them running it on a hard Sun team with Calyrex Shadow, Koraidon, GU, Raging Bolt, and Brute Bonnet. We can also see that on some of these teams, Koraidon was holding the Ability Shield, preventing its own ability from being disabled, and guaranteeing that Sun will be up through the game. We can see that both regular and Galarian Weezing have the same stats and ability. The main difference here is the typing and the moveset. The added Fairy type just gives Galarian Weezing that slight edge over Cantonian Weezing, and makes it one of the best regional forms. The next 3 Pokemon I'm going to talk about are very similar, so I'm going to try and clump them all together. These are Pokemon that peaked in the Sun and Moon era in 2017 and 2018 mostly, and now they don't see any play. These 3 Pokemon are Alolan Muk, Alolan Marowak, and Alolan Persian. During the 2017 season, Muk had a great showing, winning the special in Lima, Bilbao, Athens, in the USA, not the one in Greece, the San Jose Regional, the Hong Kong Regional, and placing 6th in the World Championship. Muk also had a few different movesets that you could run on it. If we look at the one from Worlds and the one from LAIC, we can see that both of them have Knockoff, they both have Protect. The one from LAIC has Poison, Jab, and Curse, while the one from Worlds had Gunk Shot and Flamethrower. Both also opted for a Figgy Berry for more survival power, since those berries were absolutely busted in Sun and Moon. Muk in 2025 is a shell of its former self, mostly being paired on teams with Smeargle and Flamigo and going for Minimize on Muk, and using Muk's power of Alchemy ability to gain the stat buffs from Smeargle's Moody ability. And then you will send in a Flamigo and copy those stat changes from Muk, so you'll just have 2 Pokemon in front of you that have crazy busted stats, increased evasiveness, you can't hit them and you just lose. It's really frustrating to play against. Alolan Marowak also peaked around this 2017-2018 timeframe, but it did do something that Muck couldn't do. It won the World Championship. The World Championship team used a set with the item Thick Club, the Lightning Rod ability, and paired it with moves Flare Blitz, Shadow Bone, Brick Break, and Protect. Its role on this team was to just do massive damage, but as time went on, this Pokemon started to fall into obscurity and is pretty much never used now. It's not even in Scarlet and Violet. Alolan Persian is probably the best out of these three Pokemon because it had the most longevity. Alolan Persian had a few results in 2019 and 2022 when the other Pokemon weren't there. They were gone, they were off the face of this planet. It is still lost to time though, and its 4 regional wins are all clumped together in a 12-month period. It also placed 3rd and 5th at the World Championships with very similar sets. Both of them had the moves of Fake Out, Quash, Foul Play, and Parting Shot. The only difference here was their held items and their nature. What made Alolan Persian stand out in Generation 7 was its Fur Coat ability, doubling its defense stat. Alongside this, it had a really good speed stat, and the moveset was just crazy. Like, think about it, Fake Out, that's the best move in the game. What can you do about it? You can just use Quash and they can't move. They can't do anything about it. Parting Shot, we've seen Incineroar, we know Fake Out and Parting Shot is a beautiful combination. Now we're down to the final 3. These Pokemon are the best of the best when it comes to regional forms. The first Pokemon we're going to talk about is one that dominated Regulation H. One that won 5 regionals in 2 months. That Pokemon is Sneazler. Louisville, Lille, Sacramento, Stuttgart, and Perth. It won all of them in less than 2 months. Its attack and speed stats are amazing, and its mediocre bulk can be supplemented with a Focus Sash. And if this item got used up, it would activate Sneasler's Unburden ability, doubling his speed and making him faster than everything in the format. And don't worry, it gets even worse. Its signature move Dire Claw has a 50% chance to either paralyze, poison, or put a Pokemon to sleep. Just imagine this, Sneasler outspeeds and hits you with Dire Claw, you get put to sleep, and you instantly lose the game. It's genuinely game breaking, it's crazy. Going back to the Unburden ability, this can also be activated by Psychic Seed and Grassy Seed as well. Give it a Grassy Seed and pair it up with Rillaboom, and you've got an insanely fast Sneasler that's threatening damage right out of the gate. In the 2026 Milwaukee Regional, the grand final was a mirror match between 2 Sneasler Rillaboom teams, both trainers using a Grassy Seed build with Terra Flying and Acrobatics. That's just crazy, and if you've played Regulation H before, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Another Pokemon on both of these teams was Alolan Ninetales, which is the next Pokemon I want to talk about. To be honest, I think the Alolan Ninetales is better than the next Pokemon, but I just wanted the video to flow nicely, you know, it all goes into each other, they're both using the same Pokemon, yeah, you get the point. If we return back to Milwaukee for a second, both Ninetales have pretty different sets. The winning Ninetales had a Focus Sash, Terra Ghost, and the moves Blizzard, Icy Wind, Encore, and Protect, whereas the runner-up used the same item, Terra Ground, and the moves Blizzard, Aurora Veil, Terra Blast to help with Goldengo and Archaludon, and Protect. What I think makes this Pokemon so strong is that there is no definitive set that you need to use. You can go for Terra Fire, give it the Light Clay and just go for Aurora Veil and win the game that way. You can go for a Focus Sash build where you set up Aurora Veil for 5 turns. You can even go for a Choice Scarf set where you spam Blizzard. Anything can work. This Pokemon is amazing. There were also some other teams that included Ninetales at Milwaukee. One decided to use King Gambit and Basculegion. 2 of them went for Magmar, and 1 had Electabuzz and Volcarona. It's just an extremely versatile Pokemon. Ninetales wasn't just good recently though, it also had results in 2017, winning Toronto and Santiago regionals and coming 2nd in Worlds that year. It then fell off for a little while but started to pick up towards the end of 2023, coming 3rd at Sacramento regionals and winning a special event in the Netherlands in March 2024. The combination of Snow Warning from Alolan Ninetales, having 4 ice moves on the Articuno, and the Snow Cloak ability caused this team to fill some weird niche and catch so many people off guard. This winning team also contained the final Pokemon that we're going to talk about today. That being Hisuian Arcanine. There was a time at the end of 2023 where this Pokemon was everywhere. And I mean everywhere. Boasting 6 regional wins in its short history, Hisuian Arcanine is very strong. Having access to Intimidate is always going to be great. The stats are pretty good, they're very balanced, and even though its defensive typing might not be the best, Terastallizing can help with that. The winning team from 2024 LAIC had a Terra Fairy Arcanine with a Choice Band, giving it the moves Head Smash, Rock Slide, Flare Blitz, and Extreme Speed. The third place team, however, went for a completely different set, using a more supportive set with Terra Grass, a Citrus Berry, and replacing the move Head Smash with Will-O-Wisp to deal with the annoying physical attackers at the time. This Pokemon ended up dominating the start of the 2024 season. Hi, Editor Jake here. Hisuian Arcanine has exploded in popularity in Regulation F again, this time paired with Thunderwave Fluttermane. It's won some online tournaments recently, so you better watch out.